Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're a product manager, you already know the drill, right? You gather the whole team, you spend 3 exhausting hours in a workshop, you map out the entire customer journey on a giant whiteboard, and then, well, absolutely nothing happens. Today, we're talking about transforming your customer journey maps from useless, pretty wall art into rigorous, evidence-backed tools that actually drive your product strategy. We're going to stop guessing and start seeing exactly what our customers are experiencing.
Let's be real for a second and acknowledge the elephant in the room. Most journey maps are created just for the sake of a static alignment ceremony. We basically just map out our fossilized assumptions, print them out poster size, and then completely forget about them. Contrast that with a living map. A living map is an entirely different beast. It's built on hard evidence. It directly drives your shipping decisions, and it gets updated every single quarter. Look, if your map isn't telling you what to build next, what to kill, and where to double down, you don't actually have a journey map. You just have a nice office decoration.
All right, let's dive into our playbook for today. We'll start by moving beyond that beautiful wall art. Then we'll break down the 4 essential stages you actually need to care about. After that, we'll cover how to build your map from real evidence, how to keep it alive, and most importantly, how to use it in your day-to-day.
Part 1. Beyond beautiful wall art. Moving from fossilized assumptions to real pain points.
It's time we redefine the actual purpose of a journey map. We have got to move away from our own internal assumptions and start surfacing real customer friction. The absolutely crucial point here is this: a journey map is not a feature request list. Let me just repeat that because it's so vital. It is not a feature request list. A genuinely great map is a diagnostic tool. It visualizes the steps, the emotions, and the drop-offs a customer experiences before, during, and after they interact with your product. It basically points a massive red arrow at the areas where your product is completely invisible, or worse, causing headaches. It tells you exactly where the pain exists in the customer's life, but it's still entirely your job, as the product expert, to figure out what to build to actually fix it.
Moving to part 2, the 4 essential stages. And please, let's forget the 8-stage megamaps.
Seriously, we need to ditch those massive complex megamaps that end up looking like a subway map of Tokyo. Most B2B SaaS products really only need to focus on 4 critical phases across the customer's timeline. First, there's the trigger. What the heck is happening in their world before they even start looking for you? Second is evaluation. How are they comparing options during that very first contact? Third is activation, and this is the moment they experience the first real value. We're not just talking about finishing an onboarding checklist, we mean the actual aha moment. And finally, habit, the ongoing ritual that naturally brings them back.
Listen to this quote. "I spent 3 hours in back-to-back syncs and still don't know what we're building." That right there is what a real, raw trigger stage signal sounds like. When you're trying to figure out what sets a customer on a journey to find a product like yours, you need to be listening for the frustration that just crossed their breaking point. Listen to their exact words. That quote contrasts starkly with our usual corporate speak assumptions like, the user needs better PM tooling. Customers don't wake up wanting PM tooling, they wake up wanting to stop wasting 3 hours of their life in useless syncs.
Section 3. Building from real evidence. Because every single cell needs a source.
Okay, this is where we have to introduce some strict discipline into the playbook. There's a 4-step framework you can execute starting today to fill your journey map with absolutely indisputable evidence. We're talking about pulling existing signals, running structured interviews, mapping the emotional layer, and identifying drop-off points. And here is the golden rule. If you cannot cite a specific customer quote or a recording timestamp for a cell in your map, it has to be labeled a hypothesis, no exceptions.
Step 1 is all about mining the gold you already have. Before you even think about setting up a call with a new user, pull the rich data sitting right there in your own systems. Dig into support tickets and intercom logs. Analyze your sales call recordings to find the real objections, and pay special attention to churn interviews. Honestly, those will provide the most brutally honest feedback you are ever going to receive. Start tagging these signals to your 4 journey stages, and I guarantee you'll see massive patterns emerge almost immediately. For step 2, you need to run structured discovery interviews. And there is a specific phrasing that works like magic here. Please don't ask, "What features do you want?" Instead ask, "Walk me through the last time you had to achieve this goal." Start from what triggered it, and then just stay quiet and listen. This approach reveals the tools they actually used, even your competitors, who else was involved, and what hacky workarounds they almost did instead. Just 5 of these style interviews will give you way more actionable insight than a generic 50-person survey ever could.
Step 3 is mapping the emotional layer. This is where your maps become truly actionable. Remember, Features are logic, but customer drop-offs, those are entirely emotional. Consider this comparison. A product manager who feels embarrassed in front of stakeholders needs a product that builds their confidence, not just another dashboard with more information. On the flip side, a PM who is confused about their priorities needs clarity, not an influx of more data points. You absolutely have to build for the underlying emotion present at every stage.
Step 4 maps out the specific journey gaps. You want to identify exactly where and why a customer exits before they reach the next critical stage. Maybe from trigger to evaluation, they didn't even look for a solution because they're totally unaware of what exists. From evaluation to sign-up, perhaps a lack of trust or a confusing pricing tier stopped them from trying it out. From sign-up to activation, they tried it but didn't get value, which, let's face it, is almost always an onboarding failure. And from activation to habit, they got value once but didn't return simply because your product didn't fit into an existing daily ritual. Once you identify these specific blockers, your product roadmap basically writes itself.
Part 4. Keeping the map alive. Remember, a journey map is a product, not a dusty artifact.
Welcome to the maintenance phase. The single biggest mistake you can make is treating the map like a finished project. Honestly, an 8-month-old map is literally just an assumption map at that point. You must set a strict quarterly cadence, pull 3 to 5 fresh quotes per stage, update any market evidence that has shifted, flag which of your early hypotheses proved true and which were totally off the mark, and crucially, cross-reference your actual activation data, like your time to aha metrics, against what your map predicts. This is how you keep the map breathing and accurate.
Finally, Section 5, using the journey map. Let's talk about turning all these inputs into real action. A journey map is an input, not an output, and you can deploy it across your daily operations instantly. During roadmap planning, you should demand that every single item maps directly to a specific friction point on the journey. In design reviews, interrogate the UI based on the specific emotional state the user is in at that exact stage. When hiring, show candidates your map and just see what they notice. And for the modern PM, try feeding these maps into your LLMs and AI agents. It gives them absolutely perfect context for synthesizing your customer feedback accurately.
So here's the crucial point we so often miss. The jobs your customers are trying to accomplish start days, weeks, or even months before they ever open your product. The very best product leaders map backwards. They start way down at activation and trace it all the way back to the trigger, scrutinizing the exact moment when the customer's status quo first became unacceptable. I want to leave you with a really powerful question to ponder. When you look at your customer's journey, ask yourself, what failure scenario are they escaping? They aren't just out there looking for what they want, they are running away from a failure they desperately need to avoid. Grounding your journey map in that harsh reality fundamentally changes how you build, how you price, and how you position your product entirely. Stop guessing and start actually seeing the real journey. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.